Blizzard Entertainment is taking a garrote wire to the throat of the classic community and strangling it. That may be a little hyperbolic, but I thought it might get your attention. There are so many options now to play Classic, and while most of them are solid, it does seem to be fracturing the community as a whole. In today's video, we're going to talk about the history of all the Classic era game modes, and what this means for the Classic community as a whole. But first, an obligation. Have you heard of Zygor? World of Warcraft's ultimate add-on for leveling, gold making, achievement farming, and mount collecting. I thought you might. You seem like the well-informed type. But did you know that it has been fully updated to work with the War Within expansion and all versions of Classic WoW? It's true. If you're curious, you can find a link to the Zygor Guide's website in the description below. Check it out. Anyway, back to the video. Blizzard released Classic WoW in 2019 to positive reception, and 2 years later we got the Burning Crusade Classic and Season of Mastery. It was then the gamers hoisted their girthy forms up out of their gamer chairs and decreed to the heavens, "This is pretty good." And then finally, the best expansion that absolutely no one would ever disagree with, Wrath of the Lich King, dropped in 2022. But during its run, unofficial hardcore began growing in popularity. To say hardcore spread like wildfire across the WoW community would be an understatement. It spread like a cancer or a plague, the good kind. And soon enough, hardcore streamers were popping up left and right. YouTube montages were being made of people dying in ridiculous ways and getting hundreds of thousands of views. An unofficial, fan-made game mode for WoW completely overshadowed one of their most popular expansions. Now, obviously, Blizzard didn't want to miss the opportunity to make some money, and so the official hardcore servers were released, just 11 months after Wrath. And to Blizzard's credit, it was pretty good. However, while you can argue that perhaps Blizzard didn't realize what they had done, there is no denying that the release of official hardcore put one of the final nails in Wrath of the Lich King's coffin. I mean, people still played Wrath, but it was really just for raiding. And their release schedule for new phases was, well, it was pretty slow. Hardcore just had too much content, and was just too fun for the majority of people to really care about doing the same raid every week in Wrath. Streamers were playing to massive audiences, YouTube videos of strategies and death montages were popping up daily. For the next few months, hardcore was king. But these happy days wouldn't last forever. Hell, they barely even lasted 3 months, because Blizzard decided to release their Season of Discovery in November of that year. Season of Discovery, abbreviated to SOD, Sod off, did to hardcore what hardcore did to Wrath. Maybe not to the same extent, but it's hard to compete with an exciting new game mode, especially one as hyped up as Season of Discovery was. Season of Discovery dominated the Classic community for months, even though many aspects of it were not looked on all that fondly. But something had changed with Season of Discovery. Not as many streamers were playing it. There were much fewer videos of it popping up on YouTube than hardcore had. People just weren't as into SOD as they were for hardcore. This fracture in the community could be felt in all 3 versions of Classic. Sure, they all had 1 or 2 decently populated servers, but there seemed to be such a fatigue for Classic WoW. It would almost seem like Blizzard has cursed the Classic community with the burden of choice. We all love that Classic grind, and anything they can do to spice it up will always be welcomed. But the unfortunate reality is Blizzard barely gives their Classic properties a chance to breathe and flourish before pushing out the next big item. Wrath suffered due to a slow release of new content, probably due to the Classic team working on hardcore and SOD. Hardcore had a decent run, but your average player would never be able to hit 60 in the 3 months that it was popular, and Season of Discovery dominated for almost a year due to a steady trickle of phases. All these factors have fragmented the Classic community. People still play Hardcore, people still play Classic, and people still play SOD. But your average person most likely only plays one. But it isn't all doom and gloom. Hardcore has recently seen a substantial uptick in players, and Cataclysm seems to be starting strong, and SOD is still trucking along. Perhaps, given enough time, all of these aspects of the Classic community can flourish. You know, as long as Blizzard stops adding constant new options to Classic every few months, we should be good. That being said, there have been whisperings of Classic Plus on the horizon. Some players have received surveys asking for their feedback on potential features that could draw in more players to Classic WoW. Although nothing has been confirmed, it has stoked further anticipation of Classic Plus coming in the future. Although some players feel that the proposed features would cause the more traditional Classic style of gameplay to begin to resemble the more modern version of the game, which, as people have pointed out, would defeat the point of it being labelled Classic at all. But what do you think? Will we see Classic Plus come to fruition? Will Blizzard fumble it? Or do you just not care, and you're going to keep playing Turtle WoW regardless? Let us know in the comments below. And until next time, be well.